Okay, so I got my little camera sunnies on for this one. Hopefully that'll be useful. Basically, you've got some technology to think about if you're ordering one of these. With the Volvo joystick, we've got a wing station on either side, but you can option it with the DPS, the dynamic positioning system, and then the Volvo dock assist. The dock assist will actually allow you to put side push, so you can have a little bit of gentle sideways push alongside the dock to allow you to release the lines and then step aboard pretty much solo. We're going to do it as a two-man job today. I got Toby with me because we are in a tidal zone, so I don't really feel like putting sideways push and then having the tide take the boat away from where I would like it to be. But I'm going to show you to the best of my abilities what this is all about. We've also utilised, whilst we have bow cleats all the way forward, she's a big boat, 60 odd foot LOA, I don't really need them for this dock setup. So I've actually just used the midships forward cleat in replacement just for this touch and go scenario. Obviously you may, you'd set it up fully if you were at your home dock, but for a touch and go, it gives you some flexibility. So I'm just gonna put these lines, I'll just throw them on board. It is a high-sided boat from the dock, so just be careful to get all the lines up and on board. So now this is my aft spring, releasing this. I'm gonna get all the line, watching that camera, up and on board, up and on board. And then I'm going to, just watching the boat, everything's stable. You know, she's a lot of boat. Now I'll just take some pressure off that before I step aboard. Always have the hand, a hand on the line, therefore a hand on the boat before you step on. Got one tender. Already checked the joystick. G'day, mate. And I'm just gonna do gentle sideways push. So what I do when I'm operating these joysticks, I just have a consistent amount of pressure on the joystick. So you'll see, hopefully through my glasses, that everything's very under control. Toby, can you just check, put eyes out to starboard to make sure that bloke in the tinny's not in our danger zone? No, I see him, there he is. I can actually see through the glass, but better safe than sorry. So yeah, I'm just doing gentle sideways push. It's all a bit of a piece of piss right now. If I really was concerned about the guy in the tinny, or I didn't have another pair of eyes, I would just move to the wing station over there. So I can just hold station by doing the DPS here, which is just going to hold us in position. We've got wind and tide here, and that's going to buy us time. But if I want to take control from this helm, now all I need to do is press on, got docking activated, and now I've got control at the other wing station. So if you need to improve your line of sight over here, you can. And she's just going to dial up power as is necessary for you to complete the turn. But the bigger and heavier these boats are, particularly these sedan style cruisers without a flybridge, I find them much easier to maneuver because we don't have a flybridge, so we have less windage and we've got lots of weight, so it's all kind of working in our favour. But now I'm going to press boom, DPS, hold position. There's no rush. You can see how much space we have available to us. Even people in small boats could come in here and use the dock, so we're not really offending anyone. And you can secure your lines as you see fit and then go and enjoy your day. That's what it's all about. But before we do it, we might just do a little stern to touch and go to simulate the old fish and chips pickup. Okay, so we're going to do a simulated touch and go here. I'm actually going to get Toby to stand on the transom on final approach with the roaming fender, ready to go, simulating picking up mates and just backing in at the fish markets or at a dock like this. Just imagine it's a busy summer's day and you've only got a limited amount of dock. So what we're going to do, I'm just going to actually swivel the boat over. I'm going to take control on this wing station. I'm going to start moving the boat, and I've activated the variable speed thrusters, but I'm also just going to do things in a relaxed manner. So if I choose, just for the demonstration, I'm actually going to activate DPS again, and let's just watch it work, because the tide may be moving us. Okay, you can see me changing my body position here, so I've got a good line of sight. See how we've got a little bit of sideways movement there? So I can also, if I get all flustered, I can just press DPS and just watch where we are relative to the dock. See what's happening? So, okay, we might be kicking up a little bit of sand, but we're in a couple of meters of water here, so it's not an issue. And now I can go back to docking, and I'm just gonna bring the boat in ever so slightly. And now I'm gonna say, Toby, can you make your way to the transom? You can call in the final meters for me. And we're gonna just make this slow and steady wins the race, getting the boat in nice and gentle. And I'm just using momentum here. I got the boat moving, but I'm not gonna drive myself into the dock. I'm gonna drift into the dock. And I would much rather stop and park as opposed to park and try and stop. So here we go. The tide's actually taken me a little bit there, so I'm gonna just fix that with the thruster. And now I'm gonna bring us in. Thank you. So this is the whole stop and park thing, guys. And thank you. And look, for the purpose of the exercise, we don't really need to go and get too close. Okay. And see, this is what's possible for us to buy ourselves time to pick people up. I can actually also just engage DPS. I would do it slightly off. I would also prefer to just manually operate this. And with a bit of sideways push, I can counteract that tide. And now let's walk the boat sort of into the tide. And you can see, hopefully, through my glasses, I'm loving these glasses, by the way. You can see how much control I've got. I'm doing that completely manually. I've got wind and tide, and that's how much control I've got. I'm all clear, all clear. So now I'm going to proceed away from the dock. So now I've just bought myself a little bit of time, considering the tide wants to take me that way and the wind. And now I'm going to swing myself. I can see someone's wash, so what I'm going to do is go to the other helm where I can take command, and there he is right there, see? Minimal drama. All right, guys, we have come out into the Pacific Ocean to start the test out here, because why not? I wasn't able to fly the drone exiting from the Broadwater out to the ocean. It's an outgoing tide, a little bit rough, and we just had too many things to focus on, including people swimming across the bar, as happens here and is a regular occurrence. So safety first. A little bit under 26 tons, light ship, and we've got 3,300 litres total capacity of diesel. We've got about a little over 3,000 litres on board today. 3,000 about 1 or 200 last time we checked. Volvo IPS 950s, those are pod drives obviously, and they are the 725 horsepower each. And we're just going to get the boat up and moving. I've got my RPM here, I've got my instant fuel rate just here. I'm going to be talking to you about speeds, currently at 9 knots, but I think I'm going to, looking all around, get straight up and moving. It is a bit of a lumpy day. We've got a little bit of wave period, but a couple of metre to a couple of metres at times. So perfect test for a Riviera, and we've already noticed exiting the bar where we did have some big lumpy ones, she doesn't flex, she just feels good, gives you a sense of comfort, but also confidence, as pretty much all these boats do when you're in the lumpy stuff. So that's good. I've got my windscreen wiper wash, port wiper and starboard wiper, which I probably will need at some point today, immediately aft of the throttles. Not going to be needing the thrusters. Joystick, we will demo that later on in the video. And let's just get moving. 2,000 RPM, 21 knots SOG, and a total fuel flow of 200 litres per hour at the moment. Okay, feeling good, and it's actually going between 180 to 200 as we go up and down through those swells. I'm just going to maintain this. One of the really nice features, if you engage the autopilot on these boats, there is a possibility, I'm driving manual at the moment, but you can actually just set your compass bearings, set your course, but if you then want to do a course adjustment, it allows you to just steer through that course adjustment, let go of the wheel, and it will assume the next course. So if you're just wanting some relaxed driving, it will do that for you, and it's really nice. So it's not about speed test out here at the moment, guys. We are in the ocean, as you can see, definitely through camera 2. I've deliberately put that there. You'll see the horizon moving. We do have a Seakeeper gyro. I have engaged it, and because I want to give you an understanding of what the comfort factor is here in the ocean. And in about 10 seconds, we're going to turn into those swells. We'll keep running them. My speeds are running from 22 to 23 and a half knots as we go up and down these waves. Fuel flow is still hovering from 180 to 200 litres total consumption. Birds in the water, nothing else to worry about. Turning into the swells, all clear all around. Visibility is great. I'm going to sit down. Why not? The fridge knocks out a little bit of vis port aft, but it's still not a problem because the design of this hull, and now we're going into the wave, so I'm ready to get on the windscreen wipers should I need. I've reduced my speed to 21 knots just until I get used to the new sea state, and then I'll decide if I wish to speed up or not. But yeah, what I was trying to explain, the teardrop, the wraparound glass on these Sport Yacht Platinums gives you very, very good viz all around. It's not a big drama. You would only really want that sight line when you're coming back into the dock, in which case I would just move to the aft wing station, so I'm not going to call that an issue. And we've got massive sliding opening windows on either side, so particularly if you want to get some viz on the starboard side, you can. Happy days. Feel this, big one here. So the boat's, nothing's creaking, nothing's flexing. She feels solid. I feel confident. I'm doing 20 knots. I'd be happy to give it a little bit more power here. My fuel consumption still just hovering around that 200 litres total consumption. We're really rolling over a couple of waves here. It's going to be obvious on the drone shots. 21 knots. You can maintain it with this wave period. We do have a few seconds in between waves here. It's not totally bunched up. I haven't counted, but it's not crazy. But that's comfortable, confidence inspiring. Okay, clear. I'm going to wait for this next wave, and then we're going to turn to port, and turning to port, up and over the waves. You will get swell up and over the decks, or spray up and over the decks in conditions like this, and I would expect that pretty much on any boat. One thing to pay attention, the hull design on these boats, I guess because of the styling, we're going for a little bit more styling. When you compare them to the SUVs or the fly bridges, it's got slightly less of a flare. So yes, it's going to encourage a little bit more spray up and over the decks. But when you think about it, I think predominantly a lot of you potentially are going to be using a boat like this for harbour entertaining, a little bit of coastal cruising, but mostly weekending, entertaining, overnighting in your inshore and coastal waters. I don't think that's so much of a drama. This is absolutely, from what we can feel right now, still 20 knots, the swells on the beam, gyro activated, consuming 180 litres. This is absolutely a take it to the Whitsundays in winter. I'm talking to the Australians here, or cruise it to Florida in the summers for my American mates, and also West Coast. I would go up to Canada and down to Mexico. Not a problem. Can you go all the way to Mexico? What's the fuel like? Jump in the comments and educate me. I have been to Mexico, but I've not actually cruised that part of the coast, so you can tell me if that's possible or whether you're going to stop at San Diego. Okay, clear all around, no traffic. Let's go down swell now. Hopefully it's showing you the true sea state with my drone shots. It's often hard to capture that accurately. I
see people jumping in the comments going, that's not a wave, I'll show you what a wave is. I'm like, yeah, hey, honestly, it was rough. But for whatever reason, someone who's a cameraman and knows more than me, you can explain why the waves always look smaller on camera. I don't understand why, but we've definitely had up to 2 meters at times today, and that's comfy. I'm just doing, again, not trying to do any speed test out here in the ocean. 200 litres, 23 to 24 knots. I've been ranging from 2,000 RPM to a maximum of 2,150, and I'll give it a little bit more down swell before I peel off because I don't want to get too close to the shark nets. And comfy as, and I'll peel off here. And I think from the next scene we will have to cut over to you guys in the flat water, where we will put this boat through her paces and show you what a wide open throttle and also displacement cruising speeds are capable of. Before we do that, I think we might just do a little stationary gyro test out here in the ocean for you. So see you there. Okay guys, so we've positioned the boat in what should be the most exposed to the swells. We're beam on. I've just turned the thrusters on to try and keep it that way. I'm going to turn the Seakeeper off, and you won't be able to see on the dial, but I can. I'm going to let the boat just build up some momentum first, because we saw a roll of up to 8 degrees with the Seakeeper off before, and you'll have to see through camera 2, which will give you the best reference point. Line up the horizon against the boat. Now it's starting to roll. I'm seeing up to 5 at the moment. Let's just get our next wave. I'll try and, I'm deliberately exposing. Here we go, 8 degrees. Okay, now I'm going to activate it on the next wave, and now I'm activating it. Okay, let it do its thing. Now, okay, now it's working. 1 degrees. Big wave coming now on us now. Going underneath us. 1 degrees, 2 degrees. Another wave coming now. Going underneath us. 1 degrees, 2 degrees. Okay, inshore sea trial with fuel flow. I'm going to do a shortened course today because there is a super cool Explorer yacht with a helicopter, a seaplane, and an epic catamaran tow tender all set up. It looks like he's off on a big adventure, but he's right in the middle of the channel, so I can't really go blasting past him. And some other boats doing a filming session, so just a little bit too busy for me to go running up speed on the main channel. So what I shall do is do it in this part. I can see a Princess F58 up in the distance, otherwise we are all clear. So we're just going to get the boat up and moving. We'll talk about displacement speeds a little bit later. You can feel she's got some oomph. She gets up on the plane. I'm going to turn the gyro off. We've got the Humphrey interceptors on auto on this one, 23 knots SOG, 70% engine load, and a fuel consumption, where is it? Why can't I see it on this screen? Okay, there it is, 180 litres, 180 litres. Sorry guys, I'm looking at too many screens today. 180 litres at 23 knots, but we're going to increase to 25. Really no bow raise or any hindrance to my visibility. I got one boat proceeding slowly. I'm going to watch him. I'm going to be looking out for surfers in a second crossing the channel. So I'm just going to have to make a decision what is the safe approach in a second. Coming around at 25 knots, 200 litres flat water, 25 knots, 2,200 RPM. Okay, that Princess is going to be in my way. I'm just going to have to suss out. Okay, we might be able to make this happen before him. Maneuverability, is she still a big boat, but she feels good in the turns. I might be able to make this happen, guys. I might be able to make this happen. I think I can. Okay, we're a go. I'm gonna turn behind the Princess and then give plenty of room at the tourist boat there. And if I come off the plane, it means I've changed my mind last minute, but feeling good. I'm gonna increase my speed. Clear, 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 clear. Exposed to waves in a second. And hooking it around relatively tight. Good visibility. Increasing power through some waves. Oh, look at that. Look at that, guys. Man, that's so much. I've got more to play with in terms of my turning circle. Plenty of power coming through from 24. I'm going to increase that. We'll do wide open throttle. 25 knots. Okay, much better than what I was actually expecting. In terms of nimbleness, going through my own waves, staying on the other side of the channel here just to be polite to this guy on the bigger boat here. We do have a pontoon boat up ahead. 30 knots, SOG. I got about 10 seconds of this. I have 260 litres, 270 litres total, and 31 knots. But we do have to come off the plane now because we have a pontoon boat which has no chance of catering to our swell here. So we'll use this next opportunity once I've come off the juice to talk to you about displacement speeds. Okay, just watching myself dissipating those waves there. I can actually get a clear line of sight straight out to port aft quarter, not on the swim platform. You can use your cameras for that, but it's relatively good. And now we're down to displacement speeds. I'm at 1,100 RPM. I'm seeing an 8 knot and 40 litre total consumption. Noise levels right throughout the rev range, as you can expect from every Riviera, to be fair, are conversational. You will not require hearing protection or raised voices from anywhere within this cabin to hold a conversation. So from a social perspective, it's great. And let's just open this window and see how far I can. It's brand new. It's probably never been opened before. Oh my God, it's massive. Crikey, that's awesome. G'day, mate. I like this. It's simple. You could jump out of that window. Fantastic. So that also gives you another possibility to maneuver the boat with this open if you were just making your way up the side decks and you had to make a little small adjustment and didn't want to go back to the wing station. Fantastic. That's really nice. Look how big that is. I think that's way bigger than the earlier models. Same again on that side. So for airflow, but I just think from a pleasure factor from driving, because now you have this connection with the sea rather than living in the air conditioning. Turn on the gyro again. Rather than living in the air conditioning and the climate control, which is very good and totally tropical suited, this is quite pleasant. Very, very nice. Okay, next up, drop anchor, have a little test of that, see how everything goes, and we'll close the video for you after that. All right guys, so we've come into the anchorage. It's a little bit tight and we do have some tide. Once again, I'm going to utilize the DPS, which is my friend. So the tide is running this way at the moment. And so I'm just going to buy myself a little bit of space by tucking in, basically come up the arse of these two sailboats here, and no rush. I can actually just come back to docking and find my perfect spot. I might just slide over here a little bit. I'm in how much water? I'm in 2.4 meters of water. Not worried at all. So simulating doing this by myself, this is when I would actually, when I'm happy with my position, I would press DPS, boom, boom. Then I can leave the helm, go forward and take the safety off the anchor, which has already been done. Then I turn power on, come back to the helm obviously, turn it on, unlock it with the M button, and then we can check all around. Boom, boom. Okay, so now I'm gonna go DPS off, back to docking, and I'll start to We're only in 2 meters of water here, so let's just let that anchor grab, and then I'll start to release some more. Eight, 9, 10, and let's just let that do its thing. Clear viz aft. It's all very relaxing. I can feel it catching on. We do have cameras available to us, so you can actually see the anchor on the screen here, so you can activate the camera, see what's going on. Very, very handy for raising the anchor, but it is worth saying the bow rollers have been designed in such a way that if the anchor comes up backwards, facing the wrong way, if you just give it a second, the weight of the anchor is designed as such with the bow rollers that it'll spin around and it'll always stow in the correct way. So we're anchored. I'm actually just going to release a little bit more chain because I want to give myself some room between me and that boat there just to create some pretty pictures. Happy days, guys. That was easy. On to the next bit. All right, ladies and gents, I'm gonna close it right here because it's a beautiful day, and why not? It's very pleasant. How does she drive? What should you compare her to? Very Riviera-like. So if you're coming from another Riviera, they just essentially scale up. What do I mean by that? It is a low workload on you kind of vessel. So if you are trying to maintain situational awareness, even more so, in my personal opinion, than the flybridge rivs, these are very, very easy to drive. Low inherent center of gravity, good form stability, you feel low and secure, and the hull design and performance through the sea, especially when you're in a few waves, gives you confidence and relaxes you, so it allows you to control the boat or focus on the controls and what you need to do, and then it also frees up headspace to look around and look for dangers, whether that's other people or things in the water. So it's a great boat from that perspective. From your guest's perspective, not very noisy, not too much heat or cool penetrating into the cabin, so you do feel quite protected, unless you want to open it up, of course. Very easy to hold conversations, not a lot of wild bow raise and craziness for perhaps people who are not used to driving on motorboats, so nothing that's going to scare you, basically. If you add options like the Seakeeper, I would recommend it. If you're going to spend this much money, buy it. You'd be silly not to in most situations, unless you're in some super calm place. It'll just make your life that much more pleasant. So yeah, from what did we see? Low 30s top speed, bearing in mind we were playing with a little bit of traffic and tidal flow today, so you might be able to get more in perfect conditions. Very, very comfortable in those low 20s offshore, and you can have the high 20s cruising in flat conditions, or the mid 20s should you wish. And we saw the fuel flows for a lot of the day hovering around that 180 to 200 litres total consumption, which is great. That's going to get you places. Remembering a lot of places that a lot of my mates go boating, and myself included, you're not more than 10 minutes cruising away from your destination. So when you hear those fuel flow numbers, the actual total fuel consumed at the end of the day, it's bugger all, because I know that's on everyone's minds at the moment. So what should you compare this boat to? Nothing, really, because we can look at the Princesses, we can look at the Azimuths, we can look at many of the European builds, and they're all lovely. But in my observation, many of them are designed for summer, for a European summer. And that means out exposed in the elements, in the sun, up on the flybridge, out on the decks. And it's great, it's really fun. I thoroughly enjoy it, and I see a place for those designs of vessels. But if you're someone who wants to boat all year round, if you're someone who doesn't want or can't afford to be in the sun that gives you skin cancer like it does here, or if you just want to extend your season, depending where you are in the world, and you really do want to boat in less than perfect weather conditions, that's when you look at a Riviera. If you're someone that wants to run, let's face it, a big boat, this is 60 odd feet, it feels like 60 is the new 40, because with the technology, with the design, with the layout of this thing, we can run this boat, as we discovered today, short-handed or solo, depending on where you are and how you fit the boat up. And it's not going to freak you out. It's not going to take up so much headspace that you don't actually have a relaxing day. And so it does its job because you relax, have fun, which should be the idea. So yeah, I think there's not a lot. Yes, we could look at the Maritimo, and I saw Whitehaven, who are two local companies that are providing options in this space, but they are shafts, and nobody is doing the sort of volume that Riviera is. But I think if you are thinking about things like resale, if you're thinking about things like joining a family of other owners, you cannot go past a Riv. And I genuinely think, because of where this boat now sits, I can't believe I'm saying this, 20 years ago this used to be a massive boat, but this feels like it's somewhere in the middle of the range now, a vessel of this size. So it's going to appeal to people coming down, it's going to appeal to people going up, and it's going to be perfect for so many people with so many different needs in their boat life. I think it's going to be hard to go wrong or go past this piece of kit. Hope that was useful. If you want to see pricing, post questions and get video answers from me, that's all available on Patreon. Do get in the comments and I'll pop up another competing boat on the screen right now for you to do your own research, because at the end of the day, that's what this channel is all about, because I ain't selling none of these. Hope that was useful. See you, legends. Bye.